I'm gonna show you how I totally messed up an epoxy project, but there's an important learning lesson in what I did. So I'm gonna share that with you here in a bit. Alright guys, so yes, I had a friend that asked me if I could do this and make this turkey here. So I said, yeah, I think I could come up with something. So I ended up taking a picture of a turkey and converting it into an outline here. I did not just pull this straight off the internet. I could find ones that had like outlines, but I couldn't find anything that would give it enough definition with the epoxy and the wood to really, make it stand out more than just an outline. So converted that. I'll show you how I did that.
So I hopped on the computer and using a photo I had found on Google, I was able to create my own contour lines to give the solid colors some definition. To do this, I used a free cloud-based software called designer.gravit.io. It took about an hour or two to do the whole design, but I also was learning this new program since I'd never used it before. It worked quite well for this, and I've continued to use it for other projects since then, and I'll link it in the description if you're interested in using it yourself.
Here what I'm doing is I'm just poking the wood with my knife just to get an outline for it. So I'm going around the edges, and then what I'll do is I'll end up taking this paper off and tracing it again with a pencil. Well, bad news. We actually messed this up. Everything was good until we ruined it. What did we do? Well, let's get into that. It is definitely not as hard as it's supposed to be. Yeah, like right here is really bad. My knife is totally in there. The reason I believe this happened was for actually two reasons. One, our temperature was not correct. So I'm just working in a basement here, and the room's set to about mid-50s. The epoxy says to set it somewhere, but typically they say like mid-60s to like mid-70s. So our temperature is low. It was also especially cold this week, so I think it was potential that the temperature was even lower because I had done other projects right in the same location. So I think just with the temperatures being lower, and two, we didn't pay attention enough to the mixing ratios. I had poured a little bit too much of the actual epoxy, so I put some more hardener in, and I don't think I got our ratios as we needed it. So that was mistake number one. The heat was number two. What that ended up getting me, like I said, was the epoxy just turned out to be too gooey. I thought I could manage to save the wood that I'd already routed out, but it was just heating up and gumming up the router bit, so decided to scrap that. So we're gonna have to completely restart to get this project to where I want it to be. But an important lesson to learn with epoxy: make sure when you set the epoxy, when it's setting up, when you're working with it, the temperature is in the ideal, like within the range that your particular epoxy says. It's usually, like I said, in the mid-60s to mid-70s. But make sure you check on the bottle. And second, pay attention to your ratios, because otherwise it's going to screw your stuff up. It's really upsetting. I let this sit for a couple days and everything. You're hoping to get it out, and now I got to start from scratch. I'm a couple days behind now on what I wanted to finish this project up. So disappointing, but an important lesson to learn and to share with you. I appreciate you for watching. I hope you got some value out of this, and that you maybe don't make the same mistake that I made here, and that you can actually see what happens when you don't do it. But anyway, I appreciate you for watching. If you liked the video and you got some value out of it, hit that like. Come back for more, because we are going to redo this, and I am going to show it again. So if you're interested to see how this actually turns out, stay tuned. It'll be coming soon enough. But anyway, we'll see you in the next video.